Bobby Shmurda's name is back in everybody's mouth again. And this time, it's not about music dropping. It's about a club night in Minnesota that turned into a full-on brawl and ended with his chain getting busted. So here's what went down. Bobby's doing a show at a club in Minnesota. Everything's regular at first. Crowds lit, drinks flowing, people got their phones out trying to catch a moment. Then, out of nowhere, somebody in the crowd decides to get bold. There's yelling, there's disrespect, and reports say a bottle gets thrown toward the stage. Now you know how that goes. Once something like that happens, the energy in the room changes instantly. Instead of ignoring it and letting security handle it, Bobby steps down toward the crowd. You can see in the viral clips, he's not backing away from the tension. There's a lot of pointing, yelling, people standing up on couches, phones in the air, and then it turns into hands being thrown. What started as one confrontation snowballs into a big tangle of bodies. Security, Bobby, random people from the crowd, everybody rushing in, trying to swing, grab, or just not get trampled. In the middle of all that chaos, one thing stands out. That big Shmurda chain he's known for. At some point during the fight, the chain gets snatched or broken off. Later footage and posts start popping up online showing the chain in somebody else's hands in Minnesota, with people basically flexing like, yeah, we got it. You know how fast the internet moves. Within hours, everybody's debating whether he got robbed, whether it was staged, or whether it was just a messy moment that went left. From the outside looking in, this is the perfect example of how quick a show can go from performance to pandemonium. One heckler, one bottle, one decision to jump in the crowd instead of falling back, and now the whole night is remembered for a fight instead of the music. You can see in some angles that the venue security is struggling to contain it. They're trying to separate people, push Bobby towards safety, and get him out of there before it gets even worse. But here's where the story flips a bit. Not too long after the brawl, Bobby gets on social media to make it clear. The chain is back in his possession. He's showing off the same pendant that people just saw online with somebody else. You can see the damage. It's bent, the link's messed up, it's clearly been through something, but it's back around his neck or in his hand. And instead of going on a long rant, he keeps it pretty simple, tagging his jeweler and basically saying, "Come fix my chain, we still mobbing." That alone has people divided. Some say that proves he held his own and got it back. Others think it was returned behind the scenes once folks realized things were getting too hot. What's interesting is how fast the narrative shifts depending on which clip you see. One angle makes it look like he got jumped badly. Another angle makes it look like he walked into the crowd on his own terms. Then you've got people online saying he started the chaos, and others defending him like, if someone throws something at you on stage, you've got every right to react. So the conversation becomes less about just the fight and more about what we expect from artists in these situations. On one side, you've got fans who feel like, look, you're a grown man. You just came home a few years ago. You're building your brand back up. You can't be risking it all over a heckler in the crowd. That side is thinking long game, money, bookings, endorsements, staying free, staying safe. Every time there's a viral clip like this, there's also promoters watching, labels watching, brands watching. They're asking, is bringing this person into my venue going to be worth the drama that might come with it? On the other side, you've got people saying, he's always been this way. This is the same energy that made Bobby Shmurda who he is. To them, this is part of the authenticity. The idea that he's not going to let somebody disrespect him on stage and just stand there smiling. For that crowd, seeing him jump in the mix, take some hits, maybe give some back, and still pop up later with the chain in his hands just confirms the image they already have of him. Then there's the bigger conversation about chains in hip-hop. A chain isn't just jewelry, it's identity, status, pride, sometimes even a symbol of surviving the streets and making it out. Getting your chain snatched has always been treated like a huge violation in rap culture. It's about more than money. It's about respect. So when people online are replaying that Minnesota footage and zooming in on the pendant, they're really asking, did he lose respect or did he get it back? That's why him showing the repaired chain later matters so much to the narrative. At the same time, The whole situation exposes how dangerous these club appearances can get. You've got alcohol, ego, big crowds, and social media all in one room. One person throws something, another reacts, and suddenly you've got a viral moment that could have easily turned into something much worse. Fights in tight spaces like that can lead to serious injuries, gunfire, or people getting trampled. So even though the internet treats it like content, there's a real safety angle underneath all this that people don't always talk about. It also raises a question for artists in general. When you're on stage and someone disrespects you, what's the smart move? Do you address it with words, let security handle it, or jump in and risk everything? In that split second, it's easy to go with emotion. But once the clips hit the internet, it's not just a moment anymore. It becomes part of your story, part of your brand. For Bobby, this Minnesota situation just adds another chapter to a career that's already been full of highs, lows, and controversy. From breakout hits and viral dances to prison time and now club brawls and chain drama, it feels like he's constantly fighting to control his own narrative. Some people will see this and say, same old Bobby. Others will say, he's still learning how to move as a star in 2025 when every bad angle ends up on 10 different blogs in an hour. Either way, the facts we're left with are pretty simple. There was a violent brawl at a Minnesota club. His chain got busted in the chaos. It popped up in other people's hands online, and later he showed that he got it back and told his jeweler to bring it back to life. What you take from that, whether it's a cautionary tale, a sign of toughness, or just another wild night in hip-hop, is up to you. Let me know what you think. Was Bobby defending himself and his respect, or risking way too much over a reckless fan and a piece of jewelry? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Short Clips podcast.